What if you lived a life where your value wasn't tied to how others see you? A life where criticism couldn't shake you, where comparison no longer stole your peace, where your self-worth stood strong like a mountain untouched by storms. Buddha once said, "You suffer because you think you are not enough. And maybe, just maybe, the truth you've been searching for has always been within reach." Ask yourself, how much of your energy is spent living by rules you didn't write? How often do you weigh your worth against standards set by strangers? That quiet feeling of not enough, it lingers because you've been looking outside for something that only grows within. In this video, we'll explore 10 timeless Buddhist principles that won't just teach you about self-worth, they'll help you rebuild it from the inside out. But a word of warning, the final truth isn't for everyone. It challenges everything you thought you knew. If you remember anything, let it be these truths. They're not just ideas, they're keys to a life anchored in love, clarity, and inner strength. And don't miss the final insight. It might just change everything. Truth 1. Turn comparison into compassion. Have you ever felt behind, like no matter how hard you try, others seem miles ahead? More accomplished, more confident, more everything, while you quietly question your own worth? That's no accident. Society pushes us into silent contests. From job titles to filtered lives on social media, everything becomes a scoreboard. But Buddhism offers a radically different path. One rooted not in competition, but in self-compassion. There's a quiet wisdom in this saying. The lotus doesn't compare itself to the one blooming beside it. It simply opens in its own time. What if you lived that way? What if your worth had nothing to do with being better, and everything to do with being true to your growth? Comparison is a quiet thief. It whispers that your life should look like theirs, that if you're not ahead, you're falling behind. But Buddhism teaches us to let go, not just of material things, but of illusions. And one of the most dangerous illusions is that you must win to matter. Here's the truth. Worth isn't earned, it's realized. So how do you begin to live this truth? Start by noticing the moments when comparison arises. Pause, breathe, gently remind yourself, their journey is not mine. Your path isn't behind or ahead, it's simply unfolding. Next, track your own progress, not through likes or achievements, but through personal transformation. Did you respond with more patience today? Were you more present? That is growth. Finally, shift your mindset from "am I enough" to "what did I learn about myself today?" Because every small lesson is a step toward wholeness. Let this settle in. Self-worth isn't loud. It's quiet strength. It doesn't seek applause. It grows silently, like deep roots preparing you to rise. Not to outshine, but to become. So ask yourself this. If there were no one watching, how would you measure your worth? Sit with that. Let it guide you. Because when your only comparison is who you were yesterday, that's when you begin to bloom. Truth 2. Don't react. Respond with stillness. There's a familiar moment, maybe you've lived through it, when someone's words hit like an unexpected blow. A judgment, a rejection, a harsh comment that leaves you aching. Instinctively, your body tenses, your mind races. You want to strike back, to defend your dignity, to restore your pride. But what if true power isn't found in reacting, but in not reacting at all? Buddhism reminds us of a simple truth. You will not be punished for your anger, but by it. The fire you unleash in defense doesn't just burn others, it burns you first. Every impulsive word, every defensive reaction is a surrender. Not to the person in front of you, but to the storm within. Picture a calm lake. Stones may be thrown, but the surface always settles. It reflects without resistance. That's the kind of peace mindfulness offers. Not a dull silence, but an awakened stillness. Because when someone hurls negativity your way, it says more about their pain than your worth. But the moment you let it inside, when you personalize it or react to it, you begin to carry what was never yours to hold. So ask yourself, is this emotion guiding me or gripping me? Ego shouts, wisdom whispers. Ego wants revenge, wisdom wants release. And it's wisdom that gives you your power back, not by dominating the moment, but by not letting the moment dominate you. This isn't passivity, this is presence. Imagine being so grounded in your inner peace that chaos outside can't reach you. That's not avoiding conflict, that's transforming it. That's the result of deep mindfulness. The ability to notice anger without becoming angry, to feel hurt without lashing out, to choose peace without needing permission. Here's how to begin. Step 1. Notice the surge, that sharp emotional pull. Pause. Even 3 seconds of awareness can stop a storm before it builds. Step 2. Name what you feel. Anger, shame, fear, hurt. Call it out. Labeling breaks the illusion of control the feeling has over you. Step 3. Respond. Not to defeat, but to protect. Not your ego, but your peace. It's easy to react when we feel ignored or misunderstood, but reactions often come from wounds, while responses come from wisdom. And every time you choose stillness over fury, you remind yourself, my worth cannot be shaken by noise. So try this. The next time emotion rises like a wave, don't ride it blindly. Breathe. Let the silence speak louder than your need to be right. Not because you're weak, but because you're centered. Let me ask you this. If you no longer needed to defend your value, how would that change your conflicts? The one who stays calm while the world trembles, that person has already won the only battle that matters. Truth 3. Mastering stillness in a spinning world. Life won't pause just because you're weary. Responsibilities pile up. People misread your intentions. Challenges arrive without warning. And in the whirlwind of all this, it's easy to believe your value lies in how effortlessly you manage it all. But Buddhism offers another way. Peace isn't the absence of pressure, it's the presence of clarity within it. Visualize this: a single flame standing in the middle of a violent storm. Wind roaring, rain falling, but somehow the flame doesn't go out. It flickers, yes, but it endures. That's what real calm looks like. Not untouched by life, but unconsumed by it. The truth is, people don't fall apart under pressure because they're fragile. They fall because they were never taught how to remain rooted when everything around them is shaking. Society tells us to do more, move faster, shout louder. But Buddhist teachings point us in the opposite direction. Stillness is not retreat, it's command. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't need a perfect environment to feel at peace. You need to reclaim the space inside you that doesn't move when the world does. You may not be able to stop the storm, but you can choose not to let it settle in your mind. Ask yourself, where do I go mentally when the pressure rises? Can I stay centered, or do I get swept away? Stillness isn't passive. It's a skill, a choice, a practice. Each stressful moment becomes a training ground. Each emotional spike is a lesson in disguise. Instead of bracing yourself, what if you started listening? What's the pressure trying to show you? Is frustration showing you a need for better boundaries? Is anxiety signaling the need for more clarity or preparation? Here's how to work with it. Step 1. Pause. Just pause. Create space before reacting. In that space, you reclaim your power. Step 2. Breathe deeply. Let each breath be a reminder. You are here. You are safe. You are steady. Step 3. Act, don't react. Let your response be rooted, not in proving anything, but in protecting your inner alignment. The more you practice this, the more you realize your worth isn't proven when everything goes smoothly. It's revealed when everything doesn't, and you still remain whole. So let me leave you with this. If external chaos couldn't touch your internal peace, who would you become? Because when you carry stillness within, no amount of noise around you can break what's already whole. Truth 4. Lean into discomfort to uncover your strength. Most of us aren't running from danger. We're running from discomfort. The uneasy silence, the honest conversation, the unfamiliar path that leads somewhere uncertain. These are the moments we quietly avoid. We keep busy, stay distracted, hold on to roles that no longer fit, all to avoid the tension of growing beyond who we've been. But here's the truth. No one builds inner strength by staying in the comfort zone. A diamond doesn't begin as something precious. It begins as carbon, ordinary, overlooked, until it's reshaped by extreme pressure. And maybe, so do you. Real transformation rarely arrives gently. It often enters disguised as setbacks, rejection, and challenge. According to Buddhist teachings, suffering isn't the true cause of pain. Our attachment to comfort is. We hurt not just because something is hard, but because we resist what it's trying to teach us. Think of gold being refined by fire. The heat doesn't destroy it. It reveals its purity. In the same way, discomfort isn't here to harm you. It's here to strip away illusion and bring out the resilience that already lives within you. Avoiding discomfort delays your evolution. You stay in the job that dulls your spirit, the relationship that silences your voice, the patterns that numb your potential. Not because you're not capable of more, but because familiar pain feels safer than unknown power. But no amount of hiding in the dark will bring you light. So ask yourself right now, what are you avoiding that might actually set you free? Is it failure? The fear of starting over? The risk of being seen for who you really are? Every version of yourself that has ever grown, even slightly, did so by leaning into difficulty, not escaping it. Buddhism doesn't promise a life free of challenge. It offers a way to see through it. Everything changes. Every emotion, every situation, even the pain, is temporary. If faced with awareness, it becomes a doorway instead of a wall. Try asking a new question when discomfort hits. What is this moment shaping in me that ease never could? Now here's your practice. Step 1. Invite small discomforts into your daily life. Get up earlier. Speak your truth. Take ownership where you once made excuses. Step 2. Notice your resistance. When you feel the urge to run, ask what you're afraid of. Often, that's the exact space where growth waits. Step 3. Reframe your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," try, "This is where I become stronger." Don't see pain as punishment. See it as preparation. Just like the coal under pressure becomes a diamond, your struggles are shaping the version of you that lives with purpose, grit, and clarity. So let me ask you, if you stopped avoiding what's uncomfortable, what kind of strength might emerge from within you? Because real self-worth isn't built by staying safe. It's forged by walking into the fire and realizing you were never meant to burn. You were meant to rise. Truth 5. Shape your mind like you would a muscle. Most people walk through life with unguarded minds, like open fields where anything can take root. Every worry, every criticism, every false belief is allowed to settle in. But Buddhist wisdom offers a powerful reminder. If you don't take charge of your mind, it will take charge of you. What you allow to grow in your mental space becomes the soil of your identity. Water thoughts of self-doubt, envy, or shame, and you cultivate a mind that works against you. But if you tend to thoughts of clarity, compassion, and discipline, then slowly, your mind becomes your ally. This isn't just poetic. The mind is like a real muscle, and like any muscle, it can be trained, stretched, strengthened. The more you practice intentional thought and presence, the more resilient your mind becomes when life pushes back. And life will push back. The real question isn't if hardship will come, but whether your mind is ready to meet it without collapsing. Many see discipline as something restrictive. Buddhism sees it differently. Discipline isn't a cage, it's a key. When you discipline the mind, you stop being a servant to fleeting moods, emotional triggers, or the opinions of others. You stop seeking approval. You stop spiraling in uncertainty. Instead, you become rooted, calm, capable. And it's from that inner stillness that authentic self-worth begins to take shape. Not because your life is perfect, but because your mind no longer controls you. Take a moment to reflect. What mental patterns are running on autopilot inside you? Are you constantly telling yourself that you're not enough? That you're bound to fail before you even try? These thoughts aren't truth. They're just mental grooves carved deep by repetition. And just like weak muscles, they can be retrained with intention. Here's how you begin. Step 1. Watch your thoughts without clinging to them. Observe them like passing clouds, not something to fight or fix, just to see clearly. Step 2. Interrupt the ones that limit you. The moment you hear, "I can't," pause and replace it with, "I'm learning how." Step 3. Feed your mind what you want it to become. Books that stretch you, moments of silence, breathwork that grounds you, daily practices that plant seeds of clarity and calm. Because here's the truth. The mind you train becomes the mind you live in. The identity you practice becomes the one you believe in. Every time you choose stillness over distraction, self-reflection over self-judgment, and intention over impulse, you're sending yourself a message. I am worth the effort it takes to evolve. Here's something simple you can do. Identify one belief that's been holding you back. Write it down, then let it go. Burn it if you must. In its place, plant a new thought, a mantra, a truth that aligns with the person you're becoming. Because you were never broken. You were never weak. You were simply untaught. And now you get to choose. Will fear shape your mind, or will you? So let me ask you, if your mind was a garden, what would it look like today? And what would you love to see it grow into tomorrow? Remember, self-worth isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build, one disciplined thought at a time. Truth 6. Free yourself from the need to be liked. Many people live quietly imprisoned, not by chains, but by the invisible need to be accepted. You post something and wait for the dopamine hit of approval. You share your thoughts, only to second guess whether they'll offend someone. You shape your words, your behavior, even your dreams, just to make sure they fit into what others might find acceptable. But Buddhism offers a piercing truth. If you are ruled by the need to be liked, you are no longer free. The moment your peace depends on someone else's opinion, you've handed over your freedom. If your worth rises with applause, it will crash with silence. Approval seeking isn't just a bad habit. It's a quiet betrayal of self. Every time you nod along when you disagree, every time you swallow your truth to avoid discomfort, you abandon a part of who you are. Picture a marionette, moving in every direction, tugged by invisible strings. That's what happens when your self-worth is tied to how others see you. But the moment you cut those strings, you begin to stand tall, to walk in your own rhythm, to speak your truth without waiting for a round of applause. Ask yourself this: who am I when no one's watching? Who am I when there's no audience, no spotlight, no performance to maintain? That's where real self-worth lives, not in attention, but in alignment. We live in a world that often equates value with visibility, likes, shares, followers, compliments. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, you don't need to be seen to know you matter. You don't need permission to be yourself. Letting go of the need to be liked doesn't mean you stop caring. It means your peace is no longer up for negotiation. Each time you choose truth over approval, you return home to yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop performing. You start living, not for validation, but for freedom. So how do you begin this shift? First, recognize where in your life you're bending to please. Is it in conversations where you silence your truth? Is it in roles where you no longer feel real? Second, weigh the cost. What does approval demand from you? Does it take your time, your energy, your authenticity? And third, practice small acts of rebellion in favor of your spirit. Speak honestly. Say no when it matters. Celebrate your choices, even when no one claps. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first. Approval is seductive. But ask yourself, what hurts more? Temporary discomfort, or living your entire life afraid to be yourself? Here's something to reflect on. If no one ever applauded you again, would you still show up as you are? Would you still dance, still speak, still create, if no one watched? Because self-worth is not built on applause. It's built on alignment. When your actions reflect your deepest values, when your joy no longer depends on external praise, you become untouchable. Not because people stop judging, but because you stop needing their judgment to mean anything. So let them misunderstand you. Let them disapprove. You're not here to play a role in someone else's performance. You're here to write your own story and live it fully, fearlessly, and without apology. Truth 7. Choose inner approval over outer validation. From an early age, we're trained to seek approval like it's the ultimate reward. We're told that recognition equals success, that applause proves our worth. But Buddhist wisdom invites us to look inward instead, and it offers a quiet yet radical truth. When you stop believing something is missing, the entire world opens up. Imagine this for a moment. There's nothing you need to prove, no praise you need to earn, no spotlight required for you to feel whole. Just you, exactly as you are, already enough. So why do we hold back our own approval, waiting for someone else to give it first? Why do we rely on compliments, titles, or likes to feel valid? There's a kind of prison in this waiting, a subtle form of self-denial. You succeed, yet still feel empty until someone else validates your win. You look at yourself with doubt until someone else gives permission to feel proud. But validation that comes from outside is always unstable. It fluctuates with others' moods, opinions, and attention spans. Like building a home on shifting ground, it never truly feels secure. Real self-worth doesn't come from being noticed. It comes from truly noticing yourself. Be like a lighthouse, steady, unwavering, and lit from within. It doesn't ask permission from the ocean to shine. It just does. That's the shift that changes everything. To stop chasing light and instead become it. Ask yourself honestly, what truth within me have I silenced to be accepted by others? Maybe it's the desire to slow down in a fast world. Maybe it's pride in something quiet, personal, and uncelebrated. Or maybe it's simply the voice inside saying, I'm proud of how far I've come, even if no one else sees it. These truths, left unrecognized, lead to self-abandonment. But when you choose inner approval, you begin to align with yourself, not someone else's expectations. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. It's the confidence to say, I know what I've done. I know who I am. I don't need a round of applause to validate it. So practice this daily. After a long day of effort or emotional growth, don't just move on. Pause. Reflect. Tell yourself, that was hard, and I did it anyway. That inner recognition rewires something ancient. It shifts the way you carry yourself. Try this mantra. I can be proud, even if no one notices. And if that feels difficult, lean into it. That's where the growth is. The more you validate yourself, the less you'll chase empty affirmation. You walk differently, speak more clearly, live more honestly. Because now, you're not waiting to be seen. You're seeing yourself. You don't need to be the loudest in the room to be powerful. You just need to be someone who knows their own worth, quietly, steadily, unshakably. Truth 8. Be authentically you, without apology. Many people spend their lives performing, wearing masks so convincing that even they forget what's underneath. They mold themselves to fit expectations, shifting who they are depending on who's in the room. But Buddhist insight reminds us of something crucial. As a snake sheds its skin, we too must let go of what no longer fits. And often, that means releasing the versions of ourselves that were built only to please others. your roles, your masks, your filtered expressions? What if the thing you're hiding is the exact part of you that could set you free? Think of the moon. Even when you can only see part of it, it's still whole, still glowing, still enough. Yet we're taught to only show the polished, presentable parts of ourselves, the parts that conform to what's acceptable or profitable. In doing so, we start dimming our light until we can't recognize ourselves beneath the performance. But here's the hard truth. Conformity might feel like comfort, but it's a cage. It keeps you safe, yes, but it also keeps you small. Being unapologetically yourself isn't about being loud or rebellious. It's about being honest. It means living in alignment with your real values, not your curated image. It means showing up as you are, even when that means you're misunderstood or not applauded. Authenticity isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And true self-worth can only exist when you stop acting and start being. Ask yourself, what parts of me am I hiding to fit in? Maybe it's your vulnerability, mislabeled as weakness. Maybe it's your creativity, boxed away for practicality. Or maybe it's your desire for stillness in a world that values constant motion. When you silence these parts, you don't just play it safe. You slowly lose yourself. And every time you hide who you are for acceptance, you're sending a message to your mind. I'm not good enough as I am. So ask again, what truth of mine needs to be lived louder today? Maybe it's finally saying what you really mean, or stepping away from something that doesn't feel aligned, or just letting yourself rest when the world demands hustle. Practice authenticity in small, powerful ways. Speak up, especially when your voice shakes. Make choices that feel aligned, not impressive. Let go of the pressure to perform and come home to who you are underneath it all. Because something amazing happens when you do this. Real connections start finding you. Real joy, real peace, and that deep confidence that can only come from being seen, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. Your authenticity isn't something to hide. It's your loudest declaration of self-respect. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs you, unfiltered, unmasked, and unafraid. So release the mask, honor the real you, and remember, the moon never dims just because someone isn't looking up. Truth 9. Release the grip of opinions. Reclaim your peace. Opinions are everywhere. People will always have something to say about your choices, your path, your truth. Their praise can lift you up and their judgment can knock you down, but only if you let it. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us, let go or be dragged. Non-attachment isn't about shutting people out. It's about no longer letting their voices decide your worth. Like passing clouds, their words shift and vanish. But if you try to hold on to everyone, you'll never feel the sun on your face. Picture yourself as a flowing river. It bends, moves around obstacles, never trying to hold on. It simply continues. That's the power of non-attachment. That's the strength you're capable of, not hardened by opinions, but untouched by them. Many of us build our identity like a house on sand, fragile, swayed by every compliment or critique. One sarcastic comment, one social media jab, one cold silence. Suddenly, our peace falls apart. Why? Because we gave away the authority to define our worth. But here's the truth. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every judgment is about you. Often, when people criticize, they're revealing more about themselves than they are about you. They speak from their own fears, wounds, and unresolved stories. Ask yourself, why does their view feel so heavy? Is it because part of me still depends on being seen to believe I matter? Or because I haven't yet fully rooted myself in my own truth? Buddhism teaches that opinions are wind, but peace is the tree that stands firm. It doesn't sway with every breeze. It stays grounded in silence. So how do you embody this stillness? It begins with restraint, not of words, but of reaction. When judgment comes, pause. Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't shrink, just breathe. Ask yourself, can I hear this? Without becoming it. This shift is profound. You move from reactivity to response, from proving to preserving. You'll feel the strength in not replying, the clarity in letting noise remain just that, noise. And soon, you'll notice something. The less you explain, the more centered you feel. Because you were never meant to bend to every opinion. You were meant to walk your own path, quietly, calmly, confidently. Like the river, flow on. Not everyone will understand your direction. Not everyone needs to. You're not here to meet every expectation. You're here to meet yourself fully. So let the winds blow, let the opinions pass. The sun still rises. And your peace, once rooted in your own truth, will no longer break every time someone speaks. That's not avoidance, that's freedom. Truth 10. Speak to yourself like someone you love. The greatest battles often go unseen. They don't happen in the outside world, but within, in the way you speak to yourself when no one's watching. That inner voice, it builds you up or tears you down. And Buddhist wisdom shows us, our thoughts shape our life. Like seeds in a garden, what we water grows. So ask yourself honestly, what am I planting with my words today? Are you growing a forest of doubt? Or are you nurturing a space of compassion, strength, and growth? Too often, we talk to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to a friend, or even a stranger. We criticize, belittle, and expect perfection. We internalize failure as identity, rather than as part of the process. But the truth is, your mind is not your enemy. It's your soil. And if you want confidence to grow, you must feed it the right thoughts. Self-worth doesn't bloom from one big breakthrough. It emerges gently, from the daily discipline of speaking with kindness, patience, and truth. You are not broken. You are becoming. Think about the stories you repeat to yourself. I'll never be enough. I always mess things up. These are not facts. They're grooves worn by repetition. But here's the good news. You can carve new ones. You can retrain your mind to respond with compassion, not condemnation. Here's how you begin. Step 1. Start with awareness. Catch the thought when it arises. Name it without shame. Step 2. Replace it. Shift the message. Instead of, I'm failing, say, I'm still growing. Instead of, I'm weak, say, I'm learning strength. Step 3. Repeat the new truth. Like a mantra, like a promise to yourself. Say it enough, and one day it won't feel like a lie. It will feel like home. Because repetition is transformation. As water carves through rock over time, your kind thoughts reshape your identity. And this work, it isn't soft, it's powerful. Buddhist practice reminds us that the mind left untrained can harm us more than any outside enemy. But once we take ownership, once we become the gardener, we become unstoppable. So ask yourself, what belief do I need to release today? What truth do I need to say out loud, even if my voice trembles? Write it down. Speak it daily. Let it become the language of your healing. Because no external achievement, no applause, no validation will ever be enough if your inner voice keeps tearing you down. But a gentle, courageous voice within, that can carry you through anything. Let today be the day you stop using your words as weapons against yourself. Speak like someone who matters, because you do, and it's time you believed it. Conclusion. You've just walked through 10 timeless truths, each one a mirror, a challenge, a quiet revolution for your inner world. And if even one of these truths stirred something in you, it means your self-worth is already waking up. Not because you became someone new, but because you finally began to remember who you've always been. Whole, worthy, and powerful beyond performance, praise, or perfection. But don't just let these words fade into the background of another day. Let them plant something in you. Water it. Reflect on it. Live it. Because true transformation doesn't happen when you hear wisdom. It happens when you practice it. So I'll leave you with this. Which of these truths will you carry with you today? Which one will you actually apply the next time life tests your peace? Comment below.